Thank you very much. Good evening. Salam alaikum. Good morning from Mexico. I'm very happy to be with all of you. Let me share my screen. And just a moment. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this invitation. I want to introduce myself also. My name is Edgar Herrera, and I'm from Mexico. And the objective of this session is that I want to share Mexico's successful experience using different medical simulation modalities during COVID-19 pandemic with all of you. I hope that this will be an inspiring talk and to open new opportunities for Saudi and Mexico civil societies to work together in order to improve patient and health personal security. I consider that the medical education will be a before COVID and after COVID era. Before COVID, most professors, students view virtual patients, telesimulation, and the use of video conference only as a modified video game or something that it's fun, that it's very spectacular, but maybe not very useful. But when COVID-19 came, everything changed. So the first experience that we had in order to attend this pandemic problem in my country was to introduce the use of virtual patients. What we have done with the virtual patients is that we have integrated them into our simulation and healthcare activities. In Mexico, unfortunately, when the pandemic started, all the hospitals closed the doors for our medical students, nurses, emergency medical technicians, and also universities were closed. So the tool that we found that can be helpful for us in order to not lose time and to improve the training of our students was the use of these simulated patients. We use them for homework before or after clinical case discussion. We send our students the access that they can use in their computers to work with these virtual patients. And after they interact with this virtual patient, we have a clinical session with them. We also use them as in an hybrid virtual patient with simulated patient. In this case, what we have done is that the students must work with the virtual patient and simultaneously an actor and standardized patient using video conference was answering their questions or improving the experience that the virtual patient can offer. And fortunately, 6 months ago, we started to open the simulation laboratories in my country. So we started to use virtual patients and also with full body mannequin or task simulator with our students. What are the advantages of using virtual patients that we found? Well, the first advantage that we found with using this methodology of virtual patients is the patient consistency. I'm sure that everybody that has the experience of using standardized patients, the simulated patients, we have a human factor against us. We as persons get tired so fast, and sometimes it is inconsistent. We have inconsistency between every case that they are developing. But the virtual patient offers this consistency. The other advantage that we found is that it's a multi-platform use way that we can interact with our students. They can interact using their own laptop or maybe in a simulation lab using these touchscreen tables or even using their cell phone. So it is very easy and almost everybody can access this technology in a very easy way. The other advantage that we found using virtual patients during this pandemic is that they improve the team and individual work. When we developed this virtual patient methodology, we try to recreate the way that you have to work with a patient. Sometimes you have to do it by yourself, and sometimes you have to work with other persons by treating these patients. So this was a great tool for us. The other advantage is the worldwide available. It was amazing that we found that, well, we were trying just to solve the problem in a local way, just in a hospital or in a university. But this methodology helps us to make it available for everybody around the world. So we can have the same case in Mexico, in Saudi, in Japan, or in other parts of the world, and we can work together with the same patient. And one of the most important things that we see as an advantage of using these virtual patients is the objective assessment of the participants. Every time the participant uses these virtual patients, we have a record of his excuse me, of his performance, and in this way we can assign a grade for them. Well, we found that it was not so hard to use virtual patients. The students love these virtual patients. Professors like a lot these virtual patients. So we started to think, well, we can grow this project. So we developed it in 2020, the first undergraduate medical students using virtual patients called Virtual Patient Challenge 2020. With the Mexican Society for Simulation Health Sciences, we developed this event. Over 200 students from America, Europe, Asia participate in this challenge. They have a clinical match using the virtual patient, and after the match, they obtain certain points, and the best team advances to the next stage, just like in a sport contest. And the final in the last year was Portugal, Mexico, and India. And it was an amazing experience for everybody, especially for our medical students, because they find that they can work together with many people around the world. Even if they don't speak the same language, it has been an amazing experience, and it opened a great way to work together. These are the trophies from the 2019 National Virtual Patient and for the 2020 International Virtual Patient Challenge. Now I want to talk a little about distance simulation. Distance simulation has many variables of this methodology. The three most common distance simulation that you can find is telesimulation, virtual simulation, and mental simulation. And I want to focus on telesimulation and mental simulation for the next slides. The opportunity that we have using this methodology is that you can participate in any part of the world. You can use your personal computer and interact in a virtual world like this virtual hospital. You can be in a real hospital. The second photo is from one of the biggest hospitals in Mexico City called Hospital General de Mexico, General Hospital of Mexico. It's one of the biggest and most prestigious hospitals in my city. And also you can work from your university. Everybody at the same time interacting with the same patient, virtual patient, standardized patient, and using video conference technology. Some years ago, I know, video conference was something that everybody thinks that it was too expensive, too complicated to be used. But nowadays, we can use video conference with using our cell phones, or even you can get an extraordinary great video conference system by a low price. So this helped us a lot in order to develop this telesimulation and distance simulation. Using this methodology, you can assess, you can obtain objective results, and the most important is that you make shorter distance between participants, and you can enjoy from professors from all around the country, all around the world, in order to improve the students' experience learning about medicine or any healthcare sciences. Our first international telesimulation experience was between Japan. I know, Mexico and Japan, they are very distant and we don't speak the same language. But the idea that we developed between Mexico and Japan was, okay, we have to find a way that maybe using a common language, in this case English, and using a methodology that we can develop at the same time, like virtual patients, we can make our students during the semester work together, solving cases and learning from each other. And it was an amazing experience between our countries during this year of pandemic. Well, and what's mental simulation? This is a new methodology, well, at least for me and many of the members in Mexico, that we have discovered during pandemic. Mental simulation is when you, if you're a surgeon, for example, when you are planning a surgery, you have to think a lot of things before you develop this surgery. You have to think in anatomy, in the technique, in what do I have to do, how can I make it happen, and what can go wrong, and how can I solve it. So you develop this mental model in your head. So this is called mental simulation. Well, how can you transform these ideas in your head into an educational experience for everybody? Well, we developed these role-play games. The idea, and this was very useful because we can get in the same room that our students during the pandemic, is that you have to develop this character. You have to be a doctor, a nurse, a surgeon, or even a patient in a different clinical case. And the idea is that when you prepare this character, we have to interact between us using video conference, and in this way you can find, well, what can go wrong? How can we solve it? What do I have to be prepared when I treat this kind of patients? And it was an amazing experience for our students because we developed this methodology, then we use the distance simulation, and if it's possible, in real time in the simulation lab, they make the simulation experience using a mannequin or a standardized patient. For the Mexican society, well, it was an amazing experience for some universities, but we wanted to share it with all of our members. Mexico is a very big country, and we have a lot of different simulation programs affiliated, some with a great budget, some very low budget. But we want to share this experience. So we developed this virtual convention center, and in this way, any member of the Mexican society can experience this distance simulation, virtual patient, and on all this methodology with all of their students also. Here is a view of this virtual convention center. We also have like a sport area where we develop this virtual patient challenge also. Well, and using my last minutes, I want to introduce you also the university where I work. This is the Anáhuac University in Mexico City. We work with over 2,000 medical students in this university. And what we have developed is this virtual hospital for the Anáhuac University. This virtual hospital, the idea was to offer our students the opportunity to experience how they will work in a real hospital from their houses. So, as you can see, it's almost like in a video game. You start this program, you enter to the main hall, and you have to select where do you want to go, just like in a real hospital. Do you want to go to internal medicine floor, to gynecology, or to operating room, or where do you want to visit this hospital? One of the most popular places to visit is the operating room. Here our students, as you can see, can push these little buttons that are the red ones, the yellow ones, and they can interact in a live camera using a 360 camera, and they can live just in real time the opportunity to work with a surgeon during a real surgery procedure. Or using the yellow one, they can view a pre-recorded session from their professors in this place. Now, let me show the function of the virtual hospital activities in an hybrid way. This is the simulation lab from my university. There you can see that they are using these rooms that we are working in real time, but also using these teleconference devices where people from their houses can interact with the students, and they can ask questions, and they can also interact with their friends in order to treat the patient. Sorry, I don't have a translation in English. This is one of our surgery professors developing a surgical class from the university using this distance simulation methodology, and this professor, you can find an standardized patient interacting with one of our students from their houses. So even if they can't go out of their houses, they can interact and experience this communication skills development using this methodology. And finally, I want to show you that we have also developed a virtual OSCE program where just the same way that the virtual hospital, they can go stage by stage assessing a patient. And, well, what were the results of this experience? We compare in blue one the online experience between the hybrid experience using these methodologies. As you can see, knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation were almost the same thing. Of course, this was the first time we developed this methodology. We have a lot of things to improve, but it was great to find that even if this was the first time and we don't have a lot of experience or the best equipment to develop it, we have obtained almost the same performance that in the real world experience. And for my conclusion, simulation methodology offers many possibilities. The imagination and strict education methodology were our best tools. And I want to conclude my participation by thanking again for this opportunity to share the work we developed in my country, hoping you find some inspiration for future activities using medical simulation. And I hope through virtual patients, video conference, and whatever may rise soon in the simulation community from Saudi and Mexico's societies, we'll find a way to work together for our students and our patients. Thank you very much. Gracias. Shukran.